pressure of this one, but just slightly a bit more cautious with my bias because I don't want to be selling directly into this area of demand on our left. So as we can see, big consolidation. This is the weekly chart, by the way. Big consolidation a few weeks back, really big move, tapped into that area last week. So I was being a bit cautious. I did say I want the market to pull back before shorting. And I was speaking a lot about this area here. I really like this level because we had a range for a few hours there, a few days actually, before, of course, we had that really big meltdown. So if price was kind enough to come back and retest that 103.8, that would have been a nice place for a short. I did say, since we got this move to the downside yesterday, that we may not see price return back to that zone. So the next best thing would be a retest of this range, which looks like price is successfully retesting. Kind of happened overnight there a little bit. We've picked up pace this morning, but price is looking pretty bearish here for the dollar. It looks like we've tried to see some upside, but all price is doing is probably putting in another lower high in comparison to the previous high over there. So at this rate, we might be slowly working our way back into support. Now, this is still a big area of demand, which could potentially reverse price. So not going to expect too much more than that. Kind of let the market lead me on whether we are going to start cracking through support and continuing or potentially reverse. But for now, it looks like momentum's picked up, successfully respected that area there. So I do think we'll probably make it back to 101.4, 101.3 in the next coming days there. So USD is looking pretty bearish to me. EURUSD is looking pretty bullish as well. So this one is doing the exact opposite. And pretty much the exact analysis as well, just flipped pretty much. So originally was looking for the retest of the range over here for Euro. Nice range, broke to the upside with a lot of momentum last week. So was hoping to see a retest of that area. Didn't quite see that happen. Price created some support and held onto that pretty well. Then we had this sharp move to the upside. I believe that was yesterday. I said a retest of this range could give some nice opportunities. It was a pretty strong move down, so I wasn't necessarily expecting that. Again, we had a lot of movement yesterday, so things were looking pretty aggressive at the time, but looks like that zone has held, and now the market is looking bullish, at least intraday. I'm not so keen about the buys in Euro at the moment, just on where we're coming into. You know, if you look to the left, it's kind of the same zone for Euro as it was with the dollar. Big range there, big reaction, huge area of supply, and gave us a huge move to the downside. Our price is trading the same area now. We still very much could break through and see a lot more upside, but that's a bit more of a trade for an intraday position. I wouldn't be looking to try and hold some swings to the upside in these areas, because potentially sellers could be looking to jump into the market. And you know, the longer that we start to kind of struggle at these areas, the more so I expect price to roll over. So if you're looking for some short-term moves, then that's probably the better way to tackle it, because you're in and out of the market. If you're looking to buy and hold for multiple days, potentially multiple weeks, unless we see a big breakthrough quickly, if price starts to stall again like we did over here, it could get a bit choppy. But yeah, EURUSD looking bullish at the moment. We're coming into some resistance now, so we'll see how price reacts with that, whether we start to respect it or break through. Not really so interested in price anymore for Euro. This was the zone I said I was interested in this week, and since we're not there, there's not much for me to do right now. And as I said, we're approaching resistance as well. So if anything, there might be some shorts around 1.109. But yeah, I would expect a little bit more upside, at least back to the resistance, and then we can see what price does next for Euro. In terms of pound USD, I'm still pretty bearish bias with this one. Again, I like the range we have here on the daily time frame. As we can see, price consolidated there pretty well. Really big move to the upside last week, came crashing back down. Now I'm looking for the retest of that, essentially, for another sell. So we created the high of it there. We created a lower low. Now essentially I'm looking for a lower high, and then of course a push back to the low. So that's what I'm looking to trade here with pound. Now we're just about coming back to retest the zone. I think it's still a little bit early to be looking to short it just yet. I'm kind of looking to see if we can push a little bit higher. I like how the market's moving. It's pretty corrective, which gives me the impression that this is just a correction, just a pullback for price to put a high in and continue lower. So I'm going to monitor pound USD a little bit closer. It's already Thursday today, so yeah, it's coming to the end of the week. I think this might set up nicely next week for some shorts. I'm looking more so at this kind of area where we've got those wicks collecting on the 4-hour chart, just above 1.29. If we can kind of slowly push into that area, maybe see some wicks, that could be a nice place for a short. And of course, targets keeping it pretty simple, back to the prior low. Makes the most sense to me. So pound I'm actually pretty bearish on. Again, humongous move to the upside, completely engulfed by that bearish move. So I'm looking at the correction and the continuation of that. As long as price can show signs of a lower high forming within that range, I'm happy to take some shorts. So I'm keeping an eye on this one. But like I said, coming to the end of the week, I think it was probably more of a trade for next week at this point. But we'll see and monitor. Aussie dollar, this one was pretty bullish yesterday. Really strong move to the upside. Again, a lot of reaction to the news yesterday. So price is quite volatile at the moment. It's a really big move to the downside, but we have recovered. Again, when price was creating new lows here, I said watch out for the sells, because every time price does create a new low, even back here as well, you can probably even say back there too. Every time price creates a new low, we do tend to have a pretty aggressive reaction to it. So price will create a new low and then shoot straight back above it. So you can see here, created the low there. We created the new low past that point. Price recovered pretty aggressively. Did it again. Price recovered pretty aggressively. Did it again. Price recovered pretty aggressively. Did it again over here. And what happened? Price recovered pretty aggressively. So in terms of the shorts, I said make sure you wait for price to come a lot higher, preferably at least back to this area, because number one, that's where all the selling momentum came from. So naturally, that'll be a much better place to look to sell from. And number two, you don't want to be selling down here just after price takes out a major low, because there's a good chance price is going to snap to the upside. And we created some supports at the start of the week. Price came back to respect it again on Wednesday, and then what was that, Tuesday? No, yeah, it was Tuesday. When did we create it? Yeah, so that was Sunday night, and then Tuesday, yeah. Then prices look pretty bullish since then. So I think in terms of, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for buys, I think buys still look good here for Aussie dollar. Let's say if you get a bit of a correction back into this area, I think that's a nice place for a buy. And another push to the upside. If you're looking to sell, I think that's actually still a nice place for a short as well. Not too sure if I'll be looking to try and stretch it all the way back to the prior low. I think the market is looking pretty fatigued to the downside. The fact that every time the market does see a new low, we shoot straight back to the upside, not really a confident sign that the trend is just naturally going to continue. At some point, I think we are going to reverse pretty soon. So for shorts, I think they do look good in that zone, but I just wouldn't be looking to try and take it all the way back there. I think keep it a little bit more conservative with targets. Buys, I think buys look good. You're still more or less around that low. So I think there's still upside in the tank. And of course, if USD does see some weakness, that should help out with Aussie dollar pushing up as well. And it does look like Aussie dollars, does look like USD is about to see some weakness too. So a nice correction here, retest the prior high. I think that would be a nice place for a support. Probably buys in the hourly chart or 30-minute chart, even 15. Might look good if you really want to refine your risk. And then, yeah, a push back to 0.624 looks good. Ends the USD, same kind of boat here as well. Really big push to the downside last week. We left a big wick to the upside, price getting crashing back down. But it's just found support there. We had all that momentum from last week, and even all that momentum there hasn't been enough to crack through support. We've wicked into that. I think we've wicked through this low here. And have we wicked through this low here? This was the COVID low back in 2020. No, not quite. It's just done that one. But support is holding so far. And if that stays true, this potentially could be a bit of a double bottom here for price to reverse. So I'm kind of backing away from any more kind of long-term sell ideas and potentially getting ready for price to actually do something like this for USD in the near future. So being prepared for that. But at the moment, as we push up, coming back into these areas, again, this is more bearish territory, so I wouldn't be looking to buy just yet. If price was to push back down, there might be some nice buys on the retest of the high here, or even the lower time frames, the retest of this area there. That might provide a nice opportunity to get long. But very strong move there yesterday. Looks like we've had a big impulse, consolidation, now getting big impulse back in the opposite direction. So to me, it looks like price is starting to reverse. So I do think USD, we might be seeing a lot more upside with this one, and potentially a reversal is on the cards here. Gold, again, a really big move to the upside. Looks like that range on the daily chart has held. Very, very aggressive move yesterday. So we had the range here, price just about tapped into that, really strong reaction. You got the prior all-time high over here at 31.67. And if I drop to the 4-hour chart, it was kind of like a very quick double bottom. Then now the market is absolutely flying. So yeah, with gold, I think it's just pull back some more upside really. Momentum looks really good still. We're coming back into this area here, prior resistance there. That will be turned support. Very strong break to the upside. Looks like a fairly slow corrective pullback right now. So I think that looks like a nice area for a buy, to be honest. If we can stay corrective, provide some wicks into that area, at least the bounce back to the high looks good. And you got the all-time high not too far away. Maybe you can hold some positions back to the high there as well. But yeah, gold to me looks pretty bullish. I think I would be a bit cautious because now we're back in this range here. This is where we did consolidate and all that momentum came to the downside. So I probably wouldn't try and swing a trade too far. Like I said, if the retest there looks good, I think a buy back to the high makes sense. But you probably would want to take most of your profit at the high and just leave some positions to trail just in case we do respect that range and price decides it wants to come back down again. But if we break the range, then yeah, all-time highs look good. But yeah, gold overall looks pretty bullish, and I do think price is naturally just going to continue now. And if we take a look at silver, so silver as well, bullish yesterday, nothing too crazy. Silver, I'm still trying to work out. I know I am still bullish with this one. I flick to the higher time frame to see what the overall market is doing. Silver still looks pretty bullish to me. We do have a very strong level below us here. A prior resistance over there is still acting as support, and potentially this area could still potentially be the catalyst for a big move to the upside. I still think that wick high there just below 35 is likely to be taken out as well. So I still know I'm bullish with silver. Excuse me. It's just a little bit difficult to find a good place for a buy because we had all that momentum from last week. It's kind of just a bit awkward right now because as we push up, we're pushing back into resistance here, and that's just not the place I want to be looking to try and take any longs from. If anything, shorts actually still look pretty good for silver, and I'll be expecting a little bit of a dip for this one. It might be a situation where we start to create some structure, so we push down, push back up again, and maybe as time develops, we might see some higher lows print. And then maybe a higher low looks good to get long on, and we take a buy and ride it back up again.